Hello and welcome to this quick tutorial for SONUSCORE's The Orchestra. In this video, we will look at the creation of a new animated preset using multiple interlocking arpeggiators. We're going to build the rhythm based on a simple musical idea and set up the instruments from scratch to suit our needs. So this is the ensemble instrument. We have the main page where we can load instruments and assign different engine modules. We have the engine page, where we can adjust the specifics of the arpeggiators and envelopes. And finally, the mixer page, where we can set the balance between the instruments and make changes to reverb and overall sound. As the instrument opens up, this is the loaded preset. Now to start from scratch, I'm going to clear all these slots. So, let's start with the first violins and load up the staccatos. What I want the engine to do is I want to press this chord, and I want the violins to play like this. To do this, I'm going to assign arpeggiator number 1 to this slot and go over to the engine controls. Let's hear what it sounds like. So this is the rhythm from the preset that was loaded before, and we will need to do some adjustments. Let's turn off the rhythm stepper for now. The first thing we need to take care of is the note order. Right now the arpeggiator is in chord mode, so it will just repeat any note that is pressed simultaneously. We can choose from a couple of different modes. For this pattern, the violin should be playing every note of the chord from the lowest note to the top note upwards, so up mode is what we need. Sounds good, but it should be faster, so I'll set the note rate to 16th notes. That's a bit hectic, so to change that, the string should be playing every note twice in a row. I'll set the repeat to 1. The notes are set, now let's add a bit of dynamic movement. I'll turn on the rhythm stepper and draw a little curve in. That's nice, but it's moving a bit too fast, so I'll set the stepper resolution to 32 steps and draw the same thing again. There we have it. Let's move on to the violas and load them up in the next slot. The violas should be playing something like this with just 2 of the pressed notes. That's a different pattern, and we'll create it in arpeggiator number 2. Let me solo the violas first so we can hear them separately. This one is similar to the previous pattern. I'll set the rate to 16th notes, and I want the violas to play just the lowest 2 notes of the chord I'm holding. This can be achieved with the note selection menu. Here I can choose between a couple of options. For the time being, I'll go with lowest 2. Now the violas will only play the lowest 2 notes of any chord I play. They should also be alternating between these 2 notes, starting with the higher one, so I'll choose the down mode in the note order menu. And now, like in the previous pattern, I'll set the repeat to 1. Again, the notes are set. All we need to do now is the dynamics. These should follow the violins a bit, but still keep a steady pulse. For this, we'll do a little trick. I'll set the stepper resolution to 4 and draw in the overall pulse I want the violas to carry. Now I'll turn up the resolution to 32 steps. The engine will copy my little pattern over the whole range of the stepper. This way I can edit the rhythm over a longer period of time and not get lost where the pulse should be. So let's set up a movement similar to the violins. Great. Let's listen to the two voices together. The violas are adding a nice little pulse and tension, but are playing in the same register as the violins and get a little lost there. So I'll load up the cello staccatos and assign them to the same arpeggiator as the violas. Now both sections will be playing the same notes. To give a bit more bottom to it, let's transpose the cello down an octave using the octave shift. Now we'll bring in the double basses. These we want to just accentuate the downbeat and play something like this. We will build this in arpeggiator number 3. This should be moving in quarters and play only the lowest note of the chord. Since it's only one note, we don't need to do anything about the note order and all the other controls here, so let's put in the rhythm. We only need 8 steps for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Nice, that's it. To support the double basses, let's bring in the low brass and double it. Since the double basses generally sound 1 octave lower than written, we'll have to transpose the brass down another octave for them to play in unison. There we go. All we have to do now is adjust the balance of the instruments. On the mixer page, we can see that the levels were set differently for each slot to suit the preceding preset. Let's just bring them to equal levels and see what it does. And here we have it. The pattern is now completely playable, and I can freely experiment with different chords and create a composition around it. So here's a short composition that was created very quickly, starting with this rhythm. We hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. If you want to learn more about the possibilities of the orchestra, you can check out our other videos on this channel, or visit sonuscore.com or bestservice.com for more information.